Vadava everyone, Bula.
Hola. Hi, I'm Esther.
And I am Jay. Welcome to Vadava Podcast. If you are a new viewer, welcome.
And if you've been following along, welcome back to another new episode.
Mm.
If you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe so you can be updated with whatever we post on this channel.
Yes, and we are also on other platforms. Do give us a like and a follow. The handle is at Vadava Podcast.
And that is VCVPOD.
CAST. Find that on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Rightest.
All right. Today is the 6th of June 2025. It is around 7:30 p.m.
Yes.
And we are back on the couch here at my home in Bulawayo, Tole, Union, Fiji.
Fiji, South Pacific Islands.
How are you feeling this evening, Mrs. Cleary?
I feel accomplished.
Yes?
Yes.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Today was a very what should I say, busy day for me. Yeah.
How?
So
so?
I decided to sell food.
Yeah?
Yeah. And this came about because, there's a lot of things that's going to happen from June onwards, and I want to have a little bit of extra money,
Yeah.
to keep us going. So I thought, I think I'm good at something. Why not?
course.
Why not sell it? Yeah, so that others can enjoy as well. I learned a lot of new things, but it was so hectic this morning. I thought I could do all those things in like the 3 hours, but I didn't take into account how long the packing would take. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, and yeah, of course there was a bit of some mishaps here and there. Like instead of buying, like I wrote 8 packets of the pasta, the penny pasta, the 500 grams. But because I bought 4 kg meat, the number 4 was stuck in my mind. So I 4 packets of pasta. Cooking it, I was like, no way, no way. Because I had a list and oh my gosh. Anyways, I had to run and get it
more
again.
pasta?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it all worked out. Everyone got their serves. Everyone ate. Everyone, how are you?
I had one. I had 3 serves.
Period.
I recommend it.
Thank you.
And I gave some feedback
Mhm.
about the packaging and the expenses. But the rich gang.
Feedback was taken positively.
Yes,
Yeah. How has your day been?
my day has been semi-productive.
Mm-hmm.
I've been just trying to get started on an assignment due later tonight. I had an extension already for a week, but just trying really hard to get into the mood of doing the assignment. But
Yeah.
still, probably 25% progress at this point. Progress is still progress.
You sure about that?
Right.
Do not procrastinate.
Learn from him, but sometimes don't.
Do not learn from me.
Right.
Yeah.
So this week, when was the last time we had recorded? It would have been a week ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
The last episode was
Right.
in the car.
In
Yeah,
the
we
car.
had
We recorded in the
a
car.
car episode.
So before we get into our topic that you will introduce, can you name a highlight and a low light of the past 2 weeks? Maybe.
I am 4 months sober. Yesterday was my 4th month. Thank you, Chisu. Yes, that's a huge highlight in my life.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That takes a lot of discipline.
Yes.
Yes,
Starts
especially
crying.
especially Chotame.
And how about you?
Highlight. Yeah, I'm so happy that I've been consistent for the first time. This is the longest time where I've been consistent with my journaling and my quiet time.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's been helping a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I would have mentioned in the other episode, I literally can't do, or I wouldn't be at peace. Yeah, that's the word. I wouldn't be at peace right now if it wasn't for the daily, daily journaling, daily devotions,
Daily
just
release.
daily outpour.
Remember in the car,
Mm-mm.
you said like to actually journal, write them, and then at the bottom right,
Release.
I release.
I
Yeah?
release, yeah. And you have to be detailed, be specific, yeah. So it's been really good. And this one verse that has been carrying me throughout the weeks. And that is. So Romans 8:28 says, insert, all
All
things
things
work together for
for
the
the
good
good of.
of those who love him.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
And then like it's a verse that I've heard over and over again, but I was reminded again that all things work together for the good, no matter how that looks, right? For the good. So it does. I mean, God's good sometimes is not, what we expect. However that looks, it's for His good.
Yeah, you mentioned the first part, but I think the more important part is the second
Yes.
part to that verse.
Yes.
For
Sorry, I
the good
meant
of those who love him.
who love Him, because some people can just think, oh, it'll work out,
Yeah,
it'll work out.
and then you
But
don't love God.
yeah,
But how do you love God?
how do you love God? That's and these things that we do, that show our love towards Him, and that's by what, spending time with Him.
Spending time, like consider it with your intimate partner. How do you show? What's your love language?
Yeah,
And then how are
quality
you
time, and God's waiting. Literally, He's waiting there every day.
knocking and knocking?
Sometimes we're just so focused on getting to where we're supposed to go, we forget to
The journey.
appreciate
The journey.
how God brought us there,
That's
right?
true.
And boy, one testament, this is, when when we spend more time with Him, we become more aware and grateful for when great things happen. So, like I had mentioned to you, I went to Tavua.
Yep.
And this was so random. My friend was saying, "Can you accompany me to Tavua?" And we went to the jewelry store because they wanted to clean some of their jewelry. So I was there, and I had gotten a message from our friend Cheyenne.
Shout out to Shabalaba Ding Dong.
Shabalaba Ding Dong. And she said, "Esther, can I EMS to you?" I said, "Sure." Name, I gave my name, my number, and my address. And then I said, "What do you want to EMS?" And she said, "Oh, Tony and I bought our rings." I said, "Oh, that's great. Where did you guys buy it from?"
No. There's a series of.
He said, "We bought it from Piles in Tavua." I said, "Girl, guess what? We're right here."
Oh, bruh. All things work together for good. That's right.
I said, "Cheyenne, you must be praying really hard," because that's so random. Like, you're messaging your friend and she's in Tavua. This is not like in Namaka, but she's literally in Tavua.
And not just Tavua.
She's in the same store that she bought the rings from.
Ah, that's beautiful.
And she was still waiting for them to reply. They hadn't replied yet. So I said, "Shine, I'm right here. Send it to me." And I got it, and I got the rings. And I have the rings with me. Yeah. So,
oh, man.
yeah, but
that's
look
a good one.
at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. He's a God of order. He knows what our heart desires are.
Yes.
Right? And when we spend time with Him, He will align our ways. He will what?
He will exalt you.
He will lift us up closer to Him, and He will make a way, and He will make things easier for us, right? Only we ourselves make things hard for us when we want to turn away from Him.
We love to make it hard. And so, thank you for sharing that testimony, Esther, about being at the right place at the right time. Yes, in God's time.
Yeah, because God ordained the day.
Of course. So today, you would have seen on our feed that we were going to be talking about a prompt that we saw on Instagram. Shout out to this account for putting up this prompt. And the prompt, which is the topic of discussion today, is, drumroll, who is your inner child and why is it important to heal them?
Right.
Who's your inner child and why is it important to heal them? All right, Esther. So what comes to mind when you hear the word inner child?
For me, it's the most vulnerable and innocent version of myself, and that would be my young age, right? The youngest age where like my conscience started learning stuff, started, I could understand what was right from wrong. And yeah, my inner child is the most vulnerable and innocent version of myself.
Thank you. I'll add on to that, which from my side, because it is a vulnerable side of you, you tend and you choose to keep it away, to keep it hidden away. All right. So The inner child is those parts of you that you do not like to show people, that you like to keep for yourself, and
I see where you're
sometimes
coming
have to
from.
live with yourself.
Because you're the adult now, eh?
Yes, you're the adult still trying to heal that inner child. Get that little inner child, inner
Yeah.
part of you
Mm-hmm.
to catch up and to be one with your adult self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So when it comes to discussing about your inner child, it is important to go back and reflect on how you're being brought up as a child.
Yeah. To
Because,
understand.
yes, this shapes out
Yeah.
that inner child. So, Esther, would you like to talk about your upbringing? Just a little snippet of the environment you were brought up in.
Yeah. My family
Yeah.
dynamic, I guess. Yeah. So I am the eldest of 4 siblings, right? I'm the eldest. I'm the eldest girl.
Girl.
Yeah. Let me make that clear.
Woman.
Eldest woman. I'm the eldest girl of 4 siblings. There's 3 girls and a boy.
Joy,
Youngest.
Gideon, and
Dehina.
Hina.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice names. Very nice names.
Thank you. And yeah, my parents married young. They were about 22 years old or 23 when they got married, and they had me the next year. Literally, the next year, mom gave birth to me. That's quite important to mention, right? Because they were newlyweds, and while they were, living their newlywed life, they were also expecting to be parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were
So,
the first product of that love.
yeah, I was the guinea pig.
The
The eldest children.
lab rats.
Right? You comment if you're an eldest child. Yeah, we are always the guinea pig. This is our parents usually learn with us, right? They say that the parents learn with the eldest child,
Yeah.
and by the time the other children come along, they like, okay, this is what happened with the eldest, so we can adjust here and that.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's why the youngest gets it the easiest, I think, or they have it like better.
I can attest to that.
So you have, boy, that's a whole.
You're the
that's
oldest and the youngest.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
why I have a good life.
Whatever. Yeah. So my parents married young, had me. They shifted their whole life to Nandi, right? Because of mom. Mom was a flight attendant for Fiji Airways.
Fly for Fiji. Fly
Yeah.
Fiji, guys.
Flight attendant for Fiji Airways when my dad was doing life insurance with BSP Life. So the dynamic is
Get your life insured.
The dynamic was my parents were working, and we were brought up majority of the time. I would say 70-80% with our nannies.
All right.
Right, the nannies throughout the
Nanai.
yeah. So a lot of things were done for us. That's why, as an adult right now, it's it wasn't a habit that I grew up with to always clean up after myself. So I'm learning that as an adult, like that a lot goes into housework and everything like that. So that's the dynamic of the household. Blessed to have my parents growing up, and also I was blessed that my parents were faith based. Yeah, they made it their um, mission to have their children grow up in Christ. Yeah, in His space, in His environment. That means going to church, going to Sunday school, being part of everything in the church. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Esther.
Thank you, Chutami. What about you?
Quite the different image, I guess. Quite the contrast to yours. Yes. I'm from Nyasawa, Yalombi.
Yeah.
That's where my biological dad is from, and he passed when I was 4 years old. Yeah, that's before primary school.
Sorry to hear that.
Yes. Well, mom's remarried now. I've got a stepdad who's from the neighboring island, Nalawaki. But growing up, I was brought up in Lau because my dad's final words to mom before he passed was get out of Yalombi.
And he's from Yalombi.
Yes, get out from his village and go to Lau. All right, go to Lau and live life there. Don't go back. So that's what my mom did.
Yeah. You don't mind me asking, did he know he was going to pass? Was he?
That's a very good question. Because he died overseas,
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he died overseas. Oh, I think I have
Say that again.
All right. Gotta have that.
Oh my! This is your
This is my
dad.
biological dad, and
Wow.
this actually outlines his medical journey.
Really?
Yes. Medically,
Yeah.
I think that it would have been solved.
Mm-hmm.
The problem could have been medically solved,
Right.
provided early detection and something that our Australian family pointed out, especially here, is Fijian culture. How you're sick, but you don't want to go to the hospital. Yeah, I think that played a huge part in the early
And
departure
this
of my
is so
dad.
precious that you have this,
Yes.
to have a physical reminder of him,
Yeah, and it's got
or written out.
And photos.
Oh gosh, that
Can
is.
put this. So look at the. I'll put this up, but look at the change from that to that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many years apart are these?
2002 and 2004. This is 2 years apart.
Whoa.
And look at little sunshine. But yes, this is the letters that I was referring to. They all went around. Our family friend, Auntie Heather, shout out to Auntie Heather. Thank you very much for following and always supporting my education and my aspirations in life. Yes. And my Australian family. She's an artist and, well, she hand painted the coffin.
Wow.
You see the name and mom's name and the kids.
Right?
That was a beautiful,
such a beautiful
ceremony.
Coffin, yeah.
Yeah. But yes, medically could have been solved. And then there's that spiritual side of it, that Fijian Itoke side of it. Rumors of witchcraft and all this hatred and jealousy. Yeah. And the Fijian tendency to want to pull people down. Okay. Yes? Yeah. It's a typical mindset that people would rather see children or other people remain with them at the bottom instead of supporting others to go to the top, and for the one who's gone up to get everyone up with them.
Yeah. And it's very evident in the way that they speak. They might not say it straight up, but you can hear it in the comments. Like, because he's better than
it's a tug of war.
But really, they wanted something better for themselves, and they decided to go after it.
And I think it comes with education, with walking with Christ, and also just in the modern time now that we have our generations. Like, I want to succeed, but I'd like to see you succeed too.
Yeah, we're all going up.
We're all going up together, But the Itoke mindset, the typical Itoke mindset that I think still lingers on to this day is if I'm not succeeding, then you better not succeed.
We're all comfortable
here. All not succeed.
I vow to do the opposite of fail.
You mean succeed?
No, I will not suck seed. No one will be sucking seed.
Yeah. So
back to the question.
The structure of the family.
He passed in Melbourne. Then mom came to the village funeral. Straight after the funeral, we were up and out.
And where did you go?
Babayasawa, hello Bonombalabulao. And that is why I prefer to be identified more to the Lawan side, because really I was brought up there. Not, of course, not disregarding the Sawan side of the family, because
all love.
Yeah,
it's just your you just
yes. I
talking
lean
about
more
your childhood.
towards,
Yeah,
the Lawan side.
What role did your parents or your guardians of the time? What role did they play in shaping the beliefs that you have today?
Education. Yes. Education. I think that was a central focus.
Yeah.
Central focus.
It's very evident.
Of my upbringing. Not just with mom, but also with my guardians. My uncle and my aunt/sister.
Yeah.
in Lao who brought me up.
Mhm.
Okay, every single day, even my grandma, my now and tua, the idea was iko buli vinaka, rauto na mubuli, rawatiko, and make something out of yourself. You know,
Is it
the
worth it?
idea was the
Oh, yeah, it's
solution
worth
to
it.
all the problems was education. Okay, that's
If you're
what
strong
I was
enough.
That
taught
was
from young.
the belief of
Not
the
God, education.
Mm.
And somehow, like looking back now, it was the God I served, education,
Well,
right? But
that's
it's also with
important.
education then we can look back, and reflect on these things and
Yeah.
see that okay, I saw it. I
This
saw
one.
education as this back then,
Mm-hmm.
but it's okay now to look back and say, well, this is a different angle to see it.
Yeah.
This is a better way to see it.
Yeah. Thank God for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember letters, as I said, on the coffin, on my dad's coffin, there were letters. There were handwritten letters by mom and by the family members that were copied, and it's also in the albums that we have at home. I'll see if I can put up one on the screen. But one that stood out to me was my mom's promise to my father. It was to support my education. It was to make sure that I had the best education, even better than the education they both received combined.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
that's any parent's dream,
Yes.
to have their children
Yes.
succeed. Yeah, succeed or do better than
Them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what she did.
That's exactly what she did. She made sure I excel when it came to education. She was very supportive of
Yeah.
anything education. Only education.
Only education.
How about you, Asta?
Ooh, I forgot that I'm answering questions.
Wanted to play
Wanted to play
interview,
it. Right. So for me, it's totally. I think when we're answering questions, we're realizing how the context
different,
there,
yeah.
the difference between our upbringings. Right. For me, it was mostly about faith. Right. The belief system. The whole thing was we are a Christian household. Right. We go to church on Sunday. We have devotions daily. Yeah. And for a moment, I mean, obviously through my teen years growing up, it became more ritualistic, right? So it was more like a
Routine.
chore, a routine. So I thank God that they did that. They did their best, literally, and I'm grateful for that because that was my foundation, right? So no matter how far I would sway or how far I'm swaying, there's always that, you know,
Lifeline.
that lifeline that's pulling me back, that's grounding me again, that's saying, hey, this is what you were taught, right? And this is the way you should, this is your right, this is where you're supposed to be. Come back, come back. So I'm grateful for that. Now, how it has shaped me, I am grounding myself and I'm doing it more for me, right? Because as I'm learning, as I'm doing my devotions, as I'm going through it, I'm just realizing every day I can't do this on my own. I can't solve these things on my own. I need God. Yeah. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for my parents bringing me up like that. Yeah. Because that's God's divine plan. Like, He knows I can go through these things that I'm going through right now because of the things that my parents have instilled in me, the things that God has planted in my heart. Yeah. So mine is more on the faith side of things. I sometimes I wish it was more on education too, but it's all right. This is my journey,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's my upbringing.
Thank you for sharing that. It really is true again what you're saying, eh? Like how as this develops we see how we're on the different ends. You're on the South Pole and I'm on the North Pole because I'm always on the
Oh, whatever. It's still
okay, East and West.
but it's funny how it started from eldest youngest, and now it's
Yes.
it's more on the non-tangible things, right?
Esther, were there any specific, say, events or childhood experience you had before high school? These are your childhood years,
Yeah.
before you matured. So
So my child,
till last week.
rolling my eyes so far back. Yeah.
Yeah, your experience. What experience was there? A particular one that
Is
really
there anything? Yeah.
shaped you? Like, bam, that was a turning point.
I wouldn't say one experience. I would say that just growing up at home or growing up in my family, my parents on opposite sides both had two like opposite upbringings and opposite lifestyles. Why I'm talking about this is when I go to my mom's side, it was very like how I'm supposed to be brought up, faith based. And I go to my dad's side, it's totally opposite. But I had fun more with my dad's
Dead
side. Yeah. So from a young age, I was always like living two different lives. You're living two different,
worlds.
yeah, two different worlds.
Best of both
Best of
worlds.
both
Were you
worlds.
getting the best of both worlds?
Was I? Yeah. So because I had fun, like seeing the other side of things. Yeah, because there was two different environments. Um, I always had a split.
You're stuck in between.
Yeah, I always had a split personality. Literally, I can be at church, right, and be the best person, right. So, good girl, and then people would get a shock how bad I am as well, because of that split. Growing up, I that stayed with me. I always had a very split. I'm extremely responsible and I'm extremely responsible. I'm extremely good and extremely bad at the same time. And people get a shock when they see how bad I am, or like, yeah.
Bad girl.
And the people that have experienced my
Yeah.
not great side, when they see the other side, they're like, "Whoa, she's actually like, good girl." A good girl is in Christian girl. I can be a very Christian girl, and I can also be a very
Betty.
worldly girl, a baddie. if
Hard
you
being a
will.
Betty.
Hard being a baddie.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so Christian and worldly. I was from a young age. It's always been very split and very different.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Esther. For me, I would say, of course, the death of my dad, my biological dad, at the age of 4. I always remember, or so I was told, that my father had my sister as like his pet,
Okay.
and I was my mother's boy. I was a mom's boy,
And she was a daddy's girl.
daddy's girl. Yeah, it was just exactly that. So when he passed, I really wasn't affected,
Wow.
and then I was affected. then I was affected.
And then you realize
Damn.
it affected you.
But as I said, like after he passed, we moved to Laos. It was happy and all joyful because mom was there. Mom was there, +1, because I was just starting school, and I was literally like mommy's boy. And for +2, we had to come to Suva.
Yeah.
She was having to find work and then support us single-handedly. Is that the word?
Yeah. She was a single
Got it.
mom.
She was a single mom, a widow, eh?
Mm.
And then +3 and 4, I think that's when the shit really happened.
Went down.
Yeah, when we went back to Laos,
Mm.
only this time not with mom.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is where the Mbula Vararabi started for me and my sister. When I was in +3 and 4, yeah, just having to grow up in the care of our relatives.
Yeah.
I think we are
Mbula
always
Vararabi.
yeah, Mbula Vararabi. Yeah. You're blessed as Itoke, as Fijians, that we have a very communal way of living.
Yeah.
So it's always a community. It's your extended family looking after you.
Right.
Yeah. So I had my Nawentua and my uncle, my mom's youngest brother, and his wife, who's also my sister from the Sawa side. They took care of us. And it wasn't the best childhood, if I am being honest. And my relatives would also attest to this. It was a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but also because they hadn't had children of their own.
Okay.
And the first two kids are the girls who are living with me now in
Right.
Nandia. My cousins from their father's side, cousins from their mother's side, they're my nieces.
True that.
Small world.
And that's on being Fijian.
That is also being Fijian. Yeah, but well, they weren't parents.
Yeah.
That's what I can say. And yeah, but the death of my father also brought forward the absence of a male figure for me as a child to model after.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
I actually didn't have a male role model to take after. So I had my mom and my sister, and just so it happens, there's a lot of female family members than men in my upbringing, and it shaped who I am today. I wouldn't be on the masculinity side when it comes to who I am here. I literally have like a more feminine side.
In the way
I
he
live my
keeps-
life,
yeah,
and
in the
everything
way he
you'll
keeps
think,
things, in the way he organizes
yeah,
himself.
it's very womanly.
But yeah, I see what
Yes.
you mean, because your mom brought you up.
My mom
and
brought
that's
me up.
how she brought you
Yes.
up.
And
And
so
that's who you were looking
look
up to.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an experience that really shaped me
Mm.
the way I do things today.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's real.
Well,
So real.
Esther, did you feel that you were emotionally or mentally supported in your upbringing as a child?
Oh my goodness, I love this question. Emotionally and mentally, no, not 100%. Not 100%. As I am going through the motions of my own healing and my own, just spending time in understanding who I am, right, through His Word, I'm understanding my upbringing as well, why I am the way I am, and my relationship towards my parents, right? And one thing that I picked out was growing up, I never really could go to my parents for like a normal conversation. Or like, you know how we just go and sit outside and talanoa and just talk about, I couldn't really go and talk about my problems. Yeah. Uh, it was more like, I'm your parent, you do this is what you're supposed to do. If you're not listening, you'll get the hiding, right?
Discipline, eh?
Yeah, discipline. And that was what they knew. Yeah, like I don't blame them at all. That's what they knew, and that's how they brought me up. But unfortunately, emotionally and mentally, I don't think, and I think that's quite common in our generation. We are more on the mental health and wellness.
I think it was non-existent back then.
Yeah, I think back then it was, if you're not listening, that's
Devil child.
naughty, naughty. And sometimes some people commit suicide, some people go really way off, and they just call the child rebellious, finish. But now the way we're talking,
We're more
even
aware.
doing this thing, we're more aware that everything starts from somewhere, right? Everything could be something that was said at home, could be something that was done at home that made the child, rebel. Or why are they so naughty in school? They're not just naughty, something's happening. Yeah. And I think that's more evident with our generation. We are more aware of the root of the problem and not just the problem.
Period.
Period.
Not just the physical,
Yeah.
but the mental side of
Yeah.
things.
I think back then they're just dealing from the problem,
Not with the problem.
not with the problem. Right now, because I'm an adult, we are trying to find common ground. Yeah. There's still a lot of tug of war. I'm your mother, I'm your father, I'm 50 years old, you're just 25, but I'm an elder as well. I'm experiencing, yeah. So there's still that gap that we need to fill, and I thank God that my parents are still alive, so that we can mend that, hopefully.
Yes.
But God, only through Him, yeah.
No, that is true.
Yeah. So that's my answer.
I think that's a similarity
Ding! Yay! Something similar.
Yes, I stand by what I said. That I think back then it was non-existent. The idea of mental health, non-existent, and still lingering in the Itaukei space today is the taboo. You know
Mm,
that it's just quite uncomfortable to talk about
very.
mental health.
Mm.
You know,
It's not
and
real. It's
it's
not a
not real.
like that.
You know, it's a devil.
Like the best way they dismiss it is, oh, just pray, just trust the Lord.
Just pray.
Yes.
Sleep
but-
early. Go to Taliboni.
Good.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Stop sitting alone outside.
Like yes, pray, but
Stop playing too much.
yes, pray, but what's the shortest verse in the Bible?
Jesus wept,
Yeah.
guys. He wept, meaning he felt.
Mm.
You know, so if Christ felt, bruh, who are you to stop me from trying to feel? On that note, shout out to my brothers. It is Men's Mental Health Month,
June.
the month of June.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been vocal about mental health, and my very close male circle know that I'm always supportive. And
Yeah.
I invite all the brothers out there, if you are having any mental struggles I can relate to, I could help. Not
Yeah.
professionally, but sometimes from my experience, it's just about
Being there.
pouring out
Mhm.
and not getting any response at all. Sometimes with my brothers, I just pour
Mhm.
and I don't expect
A
a
response.
response. And we both understand. We're all just like cues at our playlist. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But yes, back to that question.
Mm.
I was not at all emotionally or mentally uh, supported from young, and it shows.
And it shows because here we are adulting and struggling mentally.
Even physically,
Wow. Yeah.
you know, hugs and all that. I think it was quite absent and quite awkward in my upbringing. None of it. It was education,
Mm.
and it was like my love language. Come to think of it,
What?
in order to say the three different words, the ILOVE,
Can't even say it.
you, I would show it by doing well in education.
Mm.
It was my way of telling you that
Yeah.
this is for you. This is how you know.
Really. And also, it's an ick as well when someone that you're interested in, right? Because I remember you telling me it's a ick, eh?
It's yeah,
When you're interested in someone and then they show
low levels of education.
Bruh.
But yes, and it was my mom's love language to me. I believe
Mm.
she supported me. She supported my education, and that's how I know that
Mm.
she had that affection for me.
Yeah.
No unnecessary
What is
hugs
this? Give me a
and all
Give me a hug. I
the.
need
Well,
this.
it's not unnecessary. Like
It was
necessary.
Come on, please give me a hug, man. Please give me
Yeah.
a
So
hug.
I remember you saying also that not only is it our first time as adults, it's
That's the thing we need to remember.
yeah.
It was, if like, especially you as a first child,
Mm.
it wasn't just your first time being a child. It was your mom and dad's first time being parents as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So sometimes we hold them to a different account, not realizing that, bam, they were just learning.
Mm-hmm.
They were toddlers as well. When it came to parenting, they were toddlers. They're learning how to walk, how to crawl.
How has your upbringing influenced who you are today?
Okay, my upbringing, as I said, was mainly on education.
Right.
The only thing of focus was education, education, education.
Oh, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah,
Degree.
books, books, books. Get educated, get out, and live a better life.
Do better.
Do better than me.
Mm.
So that upbringing really stuck.
Right.
I actually haven't shared this before on Badava, right? I graduated last year with 2 degrees. I have a Bachelor of Laws and also a
Mm.
Bachelor of Arts majoring in politics and international affairs.
Well educated.
And as of today, it is now the end of semester 1 of
Yeah.
2025. I
Yeah.
am currently pursuing my master's in law.
Mm-hmm.
And then next year, I will be doing my PDLP, get admitted to the bar. And I really do believe this master's is just the first of the many.
But yeah. Nice.
All right, but that's a plan. But yes,
That's the plan.
education. For me, it has to be education. I only really do support educational stuff. Asking
Yeah.
for money, it has to be about education. Otherwise,
Forget it.
no, because you're much aware
I
and
try.
what's the word? Conscious. You're more conscious of who you were and who you are now.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, what are some values or teachings that you now reject, that you've
Reject.
cut off, and
That I don't want to.
don't want to involve in your life now, and you don't want to pass it on
Mm.
to the next generation?
That's a great question, right? One thing that I reject is saying yes just because they're my elders.
Period.
Yeah, just because they have, I mean, that title, I have to obey and just give, not only monetary, but time and these other things, right? That we give because we are
You
the
feel
children.
obliged, and
Yeah, you feel obliged. I believe that nowadays, us young people, we're learning how to set boundaries.
of course.
And then that's one thing that I try and tell my siblings or remind my siblings about. It's okay to say no. It's okay to withdraw, right? It's okay to care for yourself,
Of
to put
course.
yourself
Put
first.
yourself first.
Yeah, it's okay to do that because at the end of the day, it's you that's got you. No, sometimes you can't really go out of your way and ask and keep asking, and then you all continue that cycle of asking. Yes, it's good to help. It's good to help, of course, but it shouldn't come to a point where you're not taking care of yourself, like where you'd have nothing left for yourself. You have no savings. I'm talking more financially because I stopped a lot of things, right? I paused a lot of things because I was needed here, needed there, needed, and that's fine. That's fine because I guess that was God's plan for me because He knew I could handle it, right?
Can you? Did you?
I did. I'm alive. If I died, then no, 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 cut that out. Yeah, it's really okay to set boundaries. You don't have to oblige just because they're your parents. You don't have to oblige just because
They're
it's
older
your
than you.
yeah. They're older than you.
We're related.
Yeah, just make sure that you're good.
I do relate to what you said, Esther, and I think that's a very it okay way of seeing things again.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is we're identifying the don'ts of the it okay culture. All right. Respect. When it comes to the it okay culture, we respect because they're older than you.
That's all. Period.
Period. Yes. I'm older than you. You shut up. One lie. You know.
But also, we're
No.
adults. Yeah.
I'm not a child.
Mm.
Okay. I'm a child of God, but I am not a child. I really do observe now at work, like we've got much older crew returning. Respect is earned, and I'm really, really sometimes
Adamant
proud.
about
Yeah, I'm always adamant about it.
He's very vocal about it. Yeah.
But I'm proud of our generation, which is
Mm.
that generation,
Mm.
who, well, to be blunt, we talk back.
Stand up for yourself.
Yes,
That's a better way of saying it.
we stand up for ourselves, and we know that, bro, just because you're older than me doesn't mean that you get to walk over me.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
respect goes both ways.
Yeah. But of course, where I'm coming from, I love my parents and I love my elders. Oh well, older people in my family. Of course, I will have that care towards you. That doesn't, when I set boundaries, that doesn't mean that I I'm disregarding you as my elder,
Mm.
someone. It's just because I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because well, Chotami is vocal and adamant. Like he can do it so well.
No, 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 no.
Me, I'm such a people pleaser. Growing up as an eldest, I was taught to be an example
To your little
to
one.
my little ones, and also I have to be available to everyone. Like come here, do this, do that. Can you give this? So it doesn't mean that I don't love you. Doesn't mean that I don't care for you. But it's just me setting boundaries because I can't. Like I have to look after myself as well.
Thank you for sharing that, Esther. For me, I would say something along the same lines. I wouldn't keep my mouth shut now.
Mm.
You know, from young, I was, I don't know, discouraged, as we still see now in Itoki communities. When you're a child, iko kuni wasam blat iko nilai, iko warong obe rangase, you know, and it's something I reject with my whole heart, and I live up to it now. And I do encourage my young family members and family members in general to speak up, to speak your truth, and to be bold in what you believe in, and not to let anyone walk over you or your ideas and your opinions, because they are of value and they do matter. Yeah. And many times the Itoke culture really does encourage that. Only the elders, even to the point where only the men can talk. So all these other issues that the other members of the family are facing are all just swept under the carpet.
Ooh.
And it is aired out like laundry outside in the public space when anything goes wrong in the private space.
And then it's even worse now because there's social
media.
Oh my gosh.
It's really
Nothing's
sad seeing all
private now.
these family issues just popping up on social media.
Yeah, and that's because most of us sweep it under the rug.
Yes.
And then they come out in ways
it
that
goes
are
to the
ugly.
root, as you said. It goes back
Yeah,
to the root,
yeah.
the upbringing.
Yeah. So what does success look like to you now? And is it different from the success you understood as a child growing up?
Yes, it has changed. I've come to realize that my definition of success is different from your definition of success.
Okay.
My definition of success, of course, would go back to education. If you are well educated, then you are successful in my eyes. I look around, I look at you. You're married. Would I say you're unsuccessful? All right. So it comes back.
I'm joking.
So it comes back to definitions of success. It
Yeah.
differs for everyone, because as much as I love education and I think that everyone in the entire world has to be educated, it's not the same for everyone. Okay.
That's not the pinnacle of
yes.
success.
And others, like, say for instance, some farmers, like getting a lot of money. They're not well educated, but they are tasked and skilled. They're skilled workers. They have other skills, life skills, which a degree cannot really achieve at times.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea, just to be happy of your success, and remember that comparison is the thief of joy.
Success is different for everyone. For me, my personal definition of success is how well I navigate through life, how well I overcome my obstacles, right? If I go through it, I've succeeded. That's like a set, moving on. That's how I view success. If I can navigate my way through life and I continue to keep doing better than who I was yesterday, keep being better to who I was yesterday, I am doing something successful, right? So my health, if I did something better today, I succeeded. If I did my devotion consistently, I succeeded. If I changed my mood and someone said something to me, I didn't just sit in that, right? If I changed, I said, you know what, let me move on. They're going through their own thing. That's success to me. Success is navigating. Yeah, that's
And
how I would.
thank you, Esther. I do like how you pointed out how we differently measure success. All right, the measure.
Mhm.
You're saying like it's in the small tasks.
Yeah.
You know, it's a daily thing.
Mm.
It's by the hour. That would be my goal, I think, because I look at success in the long run. It has to be, you plan something in this year and to get it next year, and if you actually get it, then that's success.
But that's also a wonderful trait as well. But
Yeah, but like to go
be
with
grateful for the
yeah,
small
because I really do take it for granted, like the little things that I accomplish.
Yeah.
But because it's not part of my success journey, it's just a tick. It's not really something to be celebrated, you know. Like,
Okay.
I woke up. Jokes.
I woke up tick.
Success. But yeah.
So, in what ways do you think, right? In what ways do you think your approach to adulthood, so that would be like in your workspace or your finances, are they different from your parents, the way they approached it? Do you approach things differently from them?
Yes. Say no.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number one, to say no.
No! God, please, no! No!
It follows what you said about being a people pleaser. I think my parents and my family would sometime fall in that category. Then coming to the way I do things now, no.
Yeah.
I have no intention of pleasing anyone. All right. If it does not benefit me in any way, then I don't really think that I'd waste any minute of my time there. All right.
That's valid.
Yeah, just having to analyze, having an assessment of what you're going to get yourself into, and to see that if it's not beneficial to you or your family, then there really is no need to get into it. That's number one. Number two is finance. Finance. Mom retired this year, and upon retirement, I asked her, "Okay, so what savings do you have?" And she said, "No, I didn't. I didn't put money
Wow.
anywhere. It was all in FNPF." And to your
Which
education.
Which most people,
Yes.
most
Yes.
families
And
may say the same thing.
yeah, but because they didn't know, all right, and these opportunities were not readily or easily available to them.
Yeah.
Now we are very lucky. We got access to the
More
internet,
information.
and you just have all this information and doors waiting for you to enter. They're already open. All right.
And then
Yeah.
sorry.
But finances,
Yeah.
investment, a lot of savings. I have a lot of investments and savings. I get like 1/3 of my pay because the 2/3 is just going to all these different baskets. And remember, do not put your eggs in the
Same basket.
same basket. Yeah, always
All in
save up
one.
for a rainy day, my friends.
Yeah.
How about you?
All
Of the above.
All of the above. I do things differently, I would say. All the things that I try and help or solve, it's all nuclear. Like that's my limit. Right?
Focus. That's
My
good.
focus, yeah. I don't have to, go out of my way to give to someone who I haven't met.
Period.
Right?
Period.
Sometimes I'm quite sad that I don't know a lot of my extended family. Like, some people can, you just say the name, they know how to connect the tree. Yeah? But in a way, I'm grateful. Like, all the things that I have to give financially, emotionally to is all nuclear.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's even a lot, even though it's nuclear, but still.
A lot.
But still.
Give my all.
That's where I'm going to put my limit.
And boundaries as you were talking
Yeah.
about.
There was this one time I had an aunt say, Lisa, it's Mother's Day. Can you send me some money? She has 4 kids and 3 of them are working. Oh my gosh. And she's saying, it's Mother's Day. Can you send me some money? She's talking about my other cousin that's also not her daughter.
So
Like,
because
just
this cousin of yours send money, you're supposed to send money. And send more than your cousin.
I know, right?
Because it's a competition.
And I'm trying to give something to my mother.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a very Fijian. Back to it okay.
Mhm.
Ah, yeah.
What?
I can add on to that, especially to the point where you said you're not going to give to someone you've not even met.
Mm.
Yeah. I've always been vocal about it. Like I've had to tell people like I am sorry that I gave you the impression that you can ask me. Do not ask me.
Sam is learning, guys. He's not that mean.
No, but like
Yeah,
recently,
yeah, yeah.
because if I don't make it to church, so I'd have my tithe and
Set
offering on
aside.
the side, and then I would like it'll be part of my prayers, like
Right.
God wants my
Tithe
tithe
to be used
to
in
use elsewhere.
Mm-mm.
Just let me know.
Yeah.
Tell me, and give me the heart to freely give, but
Yeah.
to discern
That it's from you.
that it's from you. But I've been having some family members who I haven't even met, like you said. And I've asked mom, like, okay, who's this one? And then she connects the dots and tells me, oh, they were there, blah blah blah. All that. Yeah. One time, okay, the first time I sent it, I consider it my, blessing. I'm blessing
Yeah,
you.
that's the word.
And then
Blessing.
you come to me the second and third time, and it becomes like a weekly thing until I have to tell you, like, I am sorry that I gave you the impression that you can exploit me.
Oh,
But no,
no.
say it the way it is. Don't try to sugarcoat and to not hurt other people's feelings. Just hurt it.
If you're hurt, that's on you.
That's on you. Feel it. It's supposed to feel, my bro. Oh,
God.
bro. Yes, but it's good to be able to identify things that were not so good and to take on the decision to do better.
Right.
That's the one. Obviously, because when you were a child, there were dinosaurs around, right? Right. We have had a lot of technological
Technology.
advancements, technology, advancements. Okay, and this has benefited or destroyed us in many ways. Okay,
Very much so.
it has influenced us in the way we perceive things now compared to the way our parents were. Okay,
Yeah.
what are some of these advancements
Yeah.
that has really shaped or like played a part in your upbringing? For instance, technology. That one.
Yeah. One thing that's coming to my mind right now is my health, right? So, because of technology, I identified what my body is going through. And when I was growing up, I was told different.
Get to see that you're not alone. Like there are other people going through the same
Yeah,
things.
because I'm talking about my PCOS.
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought that I'm on the heavier side because in PCOS, for polycystic ovarian syndrome, there's more testosterone in our bodies. Like it's a higher level. Yeah? So I just thought, oh, I'm so hairy, like on my face. That's not normal for most women. And I just thought maybe it's just me, I'm different. And then I was so insecure about all these dark, on my neck. I, scrubbing it, trying to see maybe it was dirty, but really it's a mark, right? And other parts of my body as well. I was so insecure about that, but then because of technology, I was able to find out that these are symptoms of PCOS. This is why I'm infertile at the moment, and what are some ways that I can heal my body. Yeah,
Period.
heal my
Yeah.
body. And it was such a relief to know that other women too that are going through these things. Yeah, and it's not just because I'm different.
Yes.
Yeah. And maybe my upbringing, they said, oh, maybe because you didn't clean yourself, maybe you ate a lot of this, you ate a lot of. No, I have a thing and I'm working on it. And I knew that because of the internet. Yeah.
Technology.
Technology.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Esther. That is when you use it for good,
Yeah.
social media and using the internet to research
Mm.
health and useful stuff, because we cannot be blind to the other side of social media and
Of course.
the internet. It's a very dangerous place out here.
Mm.
I think number one could be my babies, which you saw in the filler episode last week. The books really changed the way I see things.
Mm.
It was no longer a little boy by the shoreline in that isolated island by the sea in the Lao
Yeah.
groups. I saw beyond the horizon through books. I think goes back to my childhood with all those events.
Mm.
It really took away my joy.
This is the worst.
Yes, it took away my joy. So meaning I was quite not just stubborn, but like nonchalant. Yes,
Showing no emotion.
showing no emotions from young, But it was because all these emotions were suppressed
Mm.
and invalidated.
Wow.
All right,
Mm.
to tell you that because you're a boy, you're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to show any sign of weakness. You're supposed to be there for your sister.
Mm.
I think that really stayed with me.
Mm.
But the advancement I'm going towards is again media technology.
Yeah.
Technology.
Now we can't say the word properly.
Putting a name
Yeah.
to what you've always been going through. All right,
Mm.
and having that ability to join a community
Mm.
and to know that there are ways to get out of this.
Yeah, you're
And
not the only one going through
yeah.
this. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you really think that it's become your normal.
You make it your whole identity.
Yes. All right. But the idea is you have to know what's normal before you know what's abnormal.
Mm.
Okay. And that means unlearning some of your normal
Yeah.
to finally realize that no, that's
That's
not the right way to
live.
be. Not the right. Yeah.
Yeah. So now in this timeline that we're in, do you think there are more or fewer opportunities than what our parents had?
Yes. Way more.
Yeah.
Of
course.
We are very blessed now,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we don't really count the blessings. We don't
Mm.
make use of the opportunities that
Yeah.
are available to us, which a decade ago or
Mm.
decades ago were not even a thought, not even an afterthought for our parents.
Yeah.
Um, very different. We have more job opportunities, more financial,
More educational
more
opportunities.
educational opportunities,
Yeah, so that's why
more
it's
awareness.
even more sad to see when these young adults or late teens just walking around being aimless adults are still living off of their parents. I'm saying this because I see it in
Yeah.
my family, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Some members of my family. It may be working out for them in their own eyes, but in reality, you have to give your parents a break.
Mm-mm.
You need to live on
And you
your
know what?
own. Be an adult.
We are getting old, but our parents are also getting older.
Yeah. Some families they don't want children to live, and in some cases it's the other way around. The children don't want to live, they don't want to pay rent, and they're just comfortable in. Yeah, but it's all case by case.
While we're on that topic, Esther, I think it's a very okay way of things to expect so much of a child.
Mm.
Meaning, if I am a father,
Mm.
I spend my years looking after my son to the point where my son starts working. My expectation is when I stop working, my son will start repaying.
The word repaying.
Like the goal for a typical Itoke parent would be they are raising a child The
For
goal
that,
for that
yeah,
is for the child to return
reciprocate.
the favor, to
To
reciprocate.
return the favor.
You know
I hate that.
exactly. Do you? What do you
What?
think? Personally,
Yeah.
where do you stand?
There is a fine line between loving on them, like this is being grateful, and then there's another part that you know, um, I gave you these years, I gave you this opportunity, like a favor. You brought me into this world, but it
But
wasn't my
fun
choice.
fact.
Jokes, jokes. When I'm gonna become a parent, I feel like how I would switch it around is I'm gonna set my child up so that they can, you know, be an adult and make their own choices.
Mm.
And if they want to help, that's great. I also have to work on. And now, as a young person, I will what
Grow
was
old.
it? I will set myself up to for retirement.
Period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not I won't retire and then expect my children to always give almost all of their income to me.
Mm.
I have to I have to be ready as well for the times that I won't work, right? And that's what I'm sure my husband and I will talk about. But it's just releasing my child as well. I wish that most parents did that.
I do get where you're coming from, because I see it very often with it's okay, who are working their first jobs and are struggling because they have that burden of just having to repay my mom and dad for looking after me, for doing all that they did to get me here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me personally, I am thankful, and I know that mom, yeah,
Mm.
I'm pretty sure mom doesn't expect me to repay everything. Like, well, it comes in the love language, yeah, but it doesn't always have to be money and bags, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't always have to be money.
Yeah. Like my education, even my master's now, mom's paying for it.
Mm.
Okay, and my way of repaying for her paying for that is to succeed, is to
Yeah.
earn that
Yeah.
master's.
Finish it.
Yeah, that's it. But it doesn't extend to when I say I've settled with a family. No, that's a different story altogether. Like that's where I cut myself from my mom
Mm.
and I commit to my family.
Wow.
That's the way I see it, and I know
Mm.
that's the way mom sees it, right?
Mm.
But also, mom has always supported me from young when it comes to finances. Meaning, well, even now, I buy things and I sell it to my mom. It's never like
Yeah.
a gift thingy or, all our transactions monetary, yeah? Because it's the idea of money.
It helped.
And yeah,
I help you, you help me, but like do it in the right way.
whenever
Or
I
what?
give things to my mom, I actually sell them to my mom.
That's
Like
interesting.
I go to the house in Yasawa and all the decorations, I can say, "Oh, I got that," but I sold it to my mom, and she supported me with it.
Mm.
Even
So I guess the way she sees it is she's still planting. Like
yeah,
she's like
it's investments. That's the
investment.
thing, guys.
That's
You
the
have to
word.
understand investment.
You can't just keep
Yeah,
giving,
giving.
giving,
You
giving.
have to expect a return, and a return doesn't have to be like, you gave me 5,000, I give you back 5,000. Yeah, repay.
There's
I
other
owe you
ways.
nothing. No. Okay. And it comes to the way I give things. Like if I choose to put money somewhere, it really is an investment because I expect a return. And sometimes, like say for instance, a student, I bless you, it's for school, and I see you not excelling, blah 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 blah. Forget about
Another investment.
forget about the another investment.
Mm.
Do not waste your investments, guys.
Yeah. It's quite tricky to talk about for me because it's constant. It's something that's happening. Like it's just trying to find the balance or draw the line between wanting to bless and it being an obligation, right? Or it being a must do, right? And I think that you can find that line when there's clear communication, right? If there's no communication and you just here complaining and complaining to yourself, but you're not talking it through with, you're not making it clear, right? This is my line. I would love that you honor that, because at the end of the day, right now we're adults, yeah? We're not just the underage children. We actually have jobs, right? And we have responsibilities that now we have to carry, and now that's why there has to be a line, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're living and we're learning, and we're
We're living.
living. Mm-hmm. Such an interesting topic. So, in what ways do you think our generation now is redefining being an adult?
Being an adult in our generation now can mean moving away from home. That was not really encouraged back then, I think.
That wasn't encouraged until you were married.
Yes.
Like, if you weren't married, you still have to stay home and look after your parents.
Family, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, yes, when you're married, it's good. That's biblical. You live with your. But what about for the people that are not married?
Married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, they gonna keep living with their parents?
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
sorry,
so the
Kevin.
idea is, like, I'm unmarried and I've been out of the home for 2 years now. Yeah. Yeah. But to be independent
First.
first, be financially stable,
Mm.
setting boundaries and maintaining those boundaries,
Mm.
and having non-negotiables,
Yeah.
and respecting yourself enough to not allow others to disrespect you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find the right words to say when I set my boundaries. Sometimes it can come off as disrespectful.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's quite tricky because I'm still trying to get over that.
Euphemism,
Mm-hmm.
Euphemisms. Do you know what euphemism is?
Elaborate. Tell me.
Well, it's a better way of saying something.
Okay.
Okay.
The way you. Okay. Yeah.
Like a more, like a
emphasize the
kinder way.
Mm.
You know, like you sugarcoat it kind of way.
Mm-hmm. No, don't say it like that.
But that's what I struggle with as well. Like,
Yeah.
to try and say it in a more, yeah, like just more in a more subtle way. That's not just outright and rude, because I like
In
to say
a
things as they
yeah.
are, but sometimes reading through them, cringe.
Oh my gosh. And I guess saying it in the right setting as well.
Yes.
Because sometimes we only say it when we're fighting,
Yeah.
only say it when it's coming out in a bedroom. You have to know when to have a sit down, like, and talk about these things. This like, this, I can't really do this right now, and I hope you understand. Yeah. And back to the question, that's one thing that our generation is, we are more aware of the things that have shaped us, and we are unlearning, we're learning, and we are actively helping each other out, yeah, and making
We're vocal about it,
yeah, we're vocal about it. Look at this, look at what we're doing.
It's okay not to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Esther,
Oh my gosh.
as we come to the close of this episode,
We're there, guys. Don't worry.
thank you for joining. Looking back, in pursuit
Looking back to yeah, looking back in pursuit
of healing that inner child. What do you think your parents or guardians could have done better?
I like that
Or what
question.
are you missing? What was missing in that recipe that made up your childhood?
I love that question. That's such a good question that I am trying to find the answer to.
Because we're trying to heal the inner child, guys. The inner child is one big.
Come on, you child. I wish they tried to understand more why I was acting the way I was acting, right? Like, not just discipline me because I did something wrong, like just give me a telling off, give me a hiding, and then move on to the next day. Why did you do that? Like, trying to understand, why am I being so rebellious? Growing up, I was always compared to my mother because I'm the eldest child. So you've seen my mom, She looks so different from me, right?
Gorgeous.
Okay. Yeah, my mom is, she's beautiful, and she's small frame. She's loud. She's sociable. She's on fire for the Lord. She sings, and I love that about her. That
And you're like,
and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm different, right?
yeah.
Whatever. See, that's the problem. Anyway, so growing up, I was always like, why aren't you like your mother? Are you Carolina's daughter?
Hmm.
Ah, why are you not singing like her? Why are you not talking? Why don't you look like her? Why
The constant
like
comparison.
boy, every time I meet the aunties or something, you look like your father's side, or like, they're just and all these things that was said, like it really like took root in my
Yeah,
heart.
yeah.
Now I'm understanding that that was one of the reasons why I just wanted to be a total opposite from her.
Hmm.
Yeah, because
Hmm.
okay, fine, I'm gonna be different. Like
Instead
instead of trying to be like follow in the ways of my
yeah,
parents, like my mom, what she's taught me all my life. I just took that and I said, fine, I'll be different.
attractive and repel, eh?
So fine, I'll be different. Fine. My mother has never touched alcohol, never smoked, never gone like clubbing or anything like that. So I was like, fine, I'll just be totally different and totally different.
Hmm.
I am, right? So it's just understanding that like I never got to sit down and really think about why I didn't like, what was happening to myself or what I didn't like about my parents. I didn't have the time to regulate my emotions, and I wish they would have sat with me and supported me or understood me from an emotional side of it. Yeah, like not just be there to discipline me after I did it, but understand why is she acting
Hmm.
out. Yeah. So that's one thing I wish my parents did differently. But then again, it goes to the part where um, that they did what they knew.
That's the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's my story. I want it to be different. What do you think was missing? I
Whoa,
think
a
you
lot
you
was
were
missing.
touching on that, but yeah, if you could extend it
Yes,
from this question.
being vocal
Mm.
and just having that display of affection, I guess. You know,
Mm.
uh, like even now, I'm very awkward when it comes to hugs and all this.
Mm.
It really
What's
bugs me.
that?
Yeah. Um, but it was because I wasn't hugged enough as a child.
What was missing? Hugs.
Hugs. I needed hugs and $1,000. And while the focus on education was perfect,
You
was
love that.
okay, I think it could have been more, you know?
Mm.
Like, ask me how I am feeling today. Yeah. And just, even though I know mom coming over to Suba when I was in Laos for 2 years, like that was necessary, yeah? Like
Mm.
she had to come and work so she could support us.
Mm.
I think just that absence of an actual parent, because I already know that I was orphaned
Mm.
when dad passed, and then to have
Mm.
mom also leave the picture 2 years through the eyes of a child, bam,
That's a long
20
time.
years.
That's a long, long
That's a
time.
long time. So that was just
In a way, it was like abandonment. Yeah.
yeah, it did feel like that.
Mm.
And I was with my sister, and I know my sister has her own story to tell as well in
Yeah.
regards to this, eh? Because she had to become
The mom.
the mom, like you said, right? Like as the elder child,
Mm.
she had to play
Step
that
up.
role as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I said, it wasn't easy growing up in Lao. Bulabar Rabin, everyone knows it well.
Mm.
Yeah.
So now, what do you wish your parents or your elders
Mhm.
understood about your life now?
If you don't know, ask.
Mm.
Yeah, don't make assumptions, eh?
Yeah, I was gonna say assume,
Yeah,
assuming.
yeah. If you don't know, just ask.
Mm.
Just had a lot of suppressed emotions, I guess.
And it shows
Yeah. And I was just waiting for the right person
to
to
ask.
ask what's up.
Mm.
And it really stayed that way until
Mm.
I would say Form 6 in high school
Mm-hmm.
when I when I met a good friend, Rasta, shout out to you. Know who you are. Yeah.
gosh,
But before that, bruh, it's just constant suppressing of feelings.
yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people went through that, right?
Yeah.
Boys as well.
Yeah, boys. It's
Full of boys.
scary stuff.
Yeah, heavy stuff. Heavy
And
stuff.
that's why men drink and become violent.
That's why men leave the kid.
That's why everything in the world.
Oh gosh. Hmm.
How about you, Esther?
Oh. I would like them to understand that I'm an adult as well. And through their experiences, I was experiencing life as well, right? Maybe through their absence, in a few moments, I had my own experiences as well. And these things that I've learned from it. There's also things that I've learned looking from the outside in, right? So sometimes my opinions or get dismissed because I'm young, right? Because they've lived longer years, longer lives than me. I've gotten shut down because that's how I gave an opinion, and then I was just shut down because they've lived longer than me. They know better. So that, oh my gosh, yeah. When things like that happen, I just get so discouraged. But I'm learning as well, and I hope they learn as well, and that they know that we are also learning. Right? I mean, we've also experienced some stuff, and we can also see from the outside in there's a better way to do things. Yeah, I think the generation before us is a lot of my way or the highway. Yeah, just listen to what I'm saying, just follow.
Coming to the end.
This is the
So, Esther, in summary, well, I hope that the discussion has been able to help you identify
yeah.
who is your inner child
Mm.
and then find out through that discussion why exactly it's important to heal her.
Mm.
Is it a woman or do you have a little
Little
boy?
boy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, who is your inner child, and why is it important to heal her?
Mm. My inner child is hurt, right? She wasn't supposed to go through that. She wasn't meant to go through that. And yeah, I'm grateful for the things I know now because I can heal that child, right? And it's only through God. That's my personal solution to that. Is I can only heal my inner child first by identifying what she went through, not just physically but emotionally as well, what they did to her. Because if I heal my inner child, my marriage is better, right? I can communicate better because I know what I'm going through, what I've gone through. And yeah, there's just more communication and more problem solving other than just fighting, right? Because I think my problem is one thing I'm noticing is if I don't solve it, I just be quiet and walk away and just ignore it and fight back and say things that I mean, and that's it. Really, a healed person would find ways to talk about it, find ways to pray together, find ways to
To heal
to
others.
have healthy relationships, right? Because once you heal that inner child, you have a better relationship with anyone. If you're still walking around hurt people, hurt
Hurt
people.
people. Bam.
Bam. Yeah, bam too. Yeah, so that's why I think it's so important to identify first who your inner child is, what they've gone through, and then work on ways to heal that person. Because once that's healed, you know how to also go forth. For you, Chotame?
My inner child is a little confident boy, easily triggered by the wind.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Okay? Meaning, idiom about the duck in the water. Like
And
above the surface,
it looks
it
calm
looks
and
calm, but below the surface, the
the
feet are looking,
always
know?
moving.
So yeah, something like that. Because I'm easily triggered. Yes, I'm easily triggered still. So that's something that I'm trying to heal, and it
Yeah.
goes back to my inner child.
Mm.
I get really offended easily, even though
Mm.
I know I really do offend a lot of people
Mm.
every day of my life. What?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
The way I am healing this little boy
Mm-hmm.
is by finally meeting these emotions face to face.
Mm.
You know, finally opening up that old wooden chest, not of treasures, but all these emotions that have been suppressed from young. You know,
Mm.
being able to use your education
Yeah, the right way.
to do something about it, and
Mm.
having the right people. I still have people who I can go to
Mm.
and talk about this very dark stuff,
Mm.
and little by little, I heal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't happen overnight for
yeah,
sure.
and just praying about it. You know,
Mm.
nothing is too big for God.
Exactly.
Nothing is too big for the altar to offer as a sacrifice. All right, and well, it comes to the idea of healing. You know,
Yep.
if you want to heal that inner child, I think the best solution would be just to take it to the altar and submit it to the Lord.
Amen.
Yeah,
Exactly.
submit it and don't like snatch it back right after.
Mm. Submit means surrender.
Surrender it, and to surrender, you need to acknowledge it. You know,
First and foremost.
acknowledge that this is what happened,
Mm.
and it affected me,
Mm-hmm.
but I will not give it the power to continue affecting me.
Right.
And now I give it to the Lord, and because He is my shepherd, I shall not want.
Right. And that's so important that you brought that up, Chatame, going back to the altar.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, it's you are supposed to know and remember and keep in your heart what God says about you.
Mm.
Yeah, because most of the time we harbor what other people are saying it, and then it hurts us, and then we feel offended, triggered, because we let that sit in our
Yes.
heart and take root.
Mm.
But in reality, it's so important that we identify these things and release them, release them. And after that, you put in what God says about you, what God says about the situation, what God says about His providence in your life, what God says about His wisdom. That's, yes, we're going to release it out, but what are we going to fill it with? It's going to be empty? No, we have to go back to Him, and we have to then spend time with Him.
Mm.
Right? That's so important, and I'm sure that's what you're doing.
But feel it before the devil does.
Yeah, because the devil will come and steal, kill, and destroy.
Yeah.
He's like a what? A
Lion.
lion, prowling, waiting
To
to
devour. That's the word.
Yeah,
To
so
devour.
make sure when you're when you're healing, right, as you're releasing all these bad memories, all these things that have happened to you, all these things that are happening, make sure you replace that with what God says about you.
Place it with kindness. Kill them with kindness.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then when you're walking through life, you hardly get offended. I mean, that's what a healed person would look like. You'll just walk through life knowing that, yeah.
Cast your burdens.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, He cares for you.
Period. Yes, so I think it has been a good discussion, Esther.
Very.
Thank you for tonight's sharing.
Thank you, Chatame, for prompting it. Sharing
you.
the prompt, yeah.
But all in all,
Yep.
to our viewers, I really do think we all have that inner child.
Mm-hmm.
And to live a better life as an adult moving forward,
Yeah.
so you do not pass it on to your children and the next generation.
Yeah.
It is important to heal that inner child, to
We
identify
are-
that inner child,
Yeah.
and heal them and let them go.
Stop the cycle.
Stop the cycle, brother. break the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't pass it on. Pass on good things,
Yeah.
not your loan and debt and
Mm.
mental issues and all this. Okay. I'd like to make a shout out to Tima. Yes. At Maima Funaki. Thank you
Thank you,
very much
Tima.
for following along,
Mm.
Padava, and also for providing us some feedback, which I really appreciated the
Oh
time
my
it
gosh.
took out to
Yeah.
write us that feedback. We
Yeah.
read it and we are very thankful and wish you well and congratulate you as well on your
Yes.
accomplishments and wish you all the best on the other side of the world. Too good. Yes.
That's awesome. Joshua 1:9 says, "Do not be discouraged,
Do not be
dismayed,
made.
for I, the Lord your God, is with you wherever you
Go.
go."
Period.
Amen.
Amen. It is true. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. We hope you've had a chance to have self-reflection on who your inner child and why is it important
Yeah.
to heal them. This is Chotame,
And this is Esther
and
signing
this
off.
is Vadava Podcast. Do not forget to like, subscribe, give us a follow, and of course, there's always a comment section open for your feedback. Thank you very much. Mode.
Mother Manda.